So the next session is, how can small business owners with limited funds and low brand recognition engage, utilize, and benefit from social media marketing, communication, and selling? Now, this is such a great topic because, guys, look, before Corona, we were all doing our own thing, cold calling, email, whether we're doing paid advertisements, whatever we was doing. Now we came into a situation where we all kind of got forced into this small little corner called social media, and we all had to really kind of invest and think, okay, how are we getting our head around this? Yeah. So, but it's hard, it's difficult, it's challenging, it's not that easy. So I've brought some of the best specialists together to come and discuss this topic with you. So without further ado, I would like to welcome the king of content, Mr. Daniel Disney, the CEO of the Daily Sales. Again, bring back Mr. Larry Long Jr., the Chief Energy Officer of LLJR Enterprises. Mr. Marc Eichner, the CEO of Monetizing Individuality. Red Stafstrom, the founder of Salespeople. And finally, Galem Girmay, the Revenue Enablement Manager for UserTesting. Guys, welcome. Thank you very much for attending today. So we've got a very, very interesting debate lined up. So before we get started, I just want to using that main question. So how can small business owners with limited funds and low brand recognition utilize and benefit from social media marketing, communication, and selling? I'd just like us all just to quickly go through, give us our own little answers, and then we see what comes out from there, and then we'll kick off the debate. Yeah? Cool. Ladies first. Galem, would you like to kick us off?
Sure. I'll kick it off with something that I think all of us are familiar with, which is community building.
Okay. Community building. That's a nice, interesting one. All right. Red. Short, sweet, straight to the point. I love it. Go on.
Just have fun. People will follow you if you're fun.
Okay. So are we talking about what? Just going out and walking around?
I mean, there's a reason I'm drinking out of a Ninja Turtle mug. The more yourself you are, the more people will want to engage with you in your content.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, so Red, just have fun, keeping it real. Marc.
The 2 V's of marketing and sales: value and values.
Value and values. Okay. Larry, go on.
Yeah, A and the C, authenticity. You got to be you, like Red said. People, they can smell BS from a mile away. That's the A. The C is consistency. So many people give up. There's a book called 3 Feet from Gold. You're so close, but people give up because they're not getting those results really, really quickly. Be consistent.
It's authentic and consistent. Okay, and Mr. Disney, go on. What was your?
I'm going to go with the. I'll go with the big P, personality. Let people get to know you as a person. People buy from.
Wow.
Let them get to know the human side of you, the real person there.
Oh dear, I feel a really strong debate warming up here, guys. Right. Oh no. Okay. So, all right, then, but let's focus on small business, because look, LinkedIn is becoming the biggest B2B social selling tool, that's hit this century, and it is just taken off like a phenomenon. And I can't deny it. Every single customer I've ever had has come through LinkedIn, so it is great. But what about for small businesses, people that don't have a brand, that don't have, the time? How can we utilize LinkedIn to actually get traction and actually win business?
I just want to start off with one quick thing. And someone said this to me years ago, and it stuck with me. LinkedIn is a level playing field. It doesn't matter if you're the smallest company, you're an entrepreneur or a startup, or you're the biggest brand out there. LinkedIn is a level playing field. Anyone can come in with the same amount of reach and opportunity. And I think that's for small business owners, for people that are trying to grow brand awareness with limited or no budgets. LinkedIn's one of the best places you can go, not have to spend a penny, and have the same opportunities as your biggest competitors. But I think that the timing bit, as you say, Leon, is a big challenge, and I'll open it to my sort of fellow panelists to share some thoughts on how they can tackle the timing issue to find time to use LinkedIn.
Go on, Red.
Red is chomping at the bit. I got something to add for Red. I see you.
So I want to start by saying I'm kind of the young buck in this panel. Like we've got like Dan, you guys have a ton of experience. I've really done a great job with LinkedIn and ramping up quickly. I've just crossed 8,000 followers in 10 months. Like that's something there is, and with I'm not paying assistance. I'm not doing anything. Like this is my panel because this is exactly what I've been doing for the last 10 months or so. So it is a completely level playing field. You can just go at it and you'll find your tribe. The more authentic you are, the more. I love what Marc Eichner was saying with value and values, like character and competency. If you show those in your post, people will start following you.
Okay.
I'll hit this real quick. Time. And we know that time is our most precious resource. However, there's no better investment than the time I spend with connections, with relationships on LinkedIn. You think about it, in your local community, you're limited to the people that you can meet, the reach that you have. With LinkedIn, you can reach the world. I mean, just looking at this panel, we've got the United Colors of Benetton from all over the world. Who would have thunk it? Come on, Cletus. I think we got 7 time zones on one call? That would have never happened. And just from personal experience, like Daniel said, it is a level playing field. You talk about budget, I'm balling on a budget. I got 3 employees, me, myself, and I. And essentially, I believe I'm getting the most. I'm squeezing all the juice out of LinkedIn. Don't tell them, but I'm squeezing all the juice, and you can as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, that's fair. That's fair enough. Yeah. Okay. What do the others have to say?
I think that LinkedIn is not for everyone. I think you really have to think about like what are your core strengths? Yeah. Are you someone who loves to write? Are you someone who loves to write short kind of stuff? Do you love to write long form formats? Do you love to be on camera? What is it like? What kind of content do you actually like to produce? And then you need to think about, is LinkedIn the right way to distribute the content, or are there even other platforms that are even like more efficient for you to distribute that content? And I mean, there are a lot of strategies on LinkedIn. There are so many strategies, and I think that is quite overwhelming actually when you get started. So I think the first step is to get into that, to see what kind of strategies are there, and how can I, with my, with my personality, with my skills, with what I actually want to do, how can I, select the right strategy? Because you need to select the strategy. And I've seen this a lot of times where people, they jump from one strategy to the next, and then nothing's working, because that's what Larry Long said. Like, you need to be consistent. So you need to pick a strategy that you love, that gives you actually energy, and that is something different for everyone. Red, like he coaches introverts. Like already when you make this small differentiation between introverts and extroverts, there are worlds in it, and even within the introverts and within the extroverts, there are, everyone has different skills. Different energy, different background. So you need to figure out for yourself, and that is what Daniel said. Like, what's your personality? What is it that what differentiates yourself, and what do you actually love to do? And then select the right strategy for yourself. Create the content that you love, and then it's gonna work.
Galem, what do you think? What's your response?
I love all the points that's been mentioned right now. And to Marc's point just now is, I agree, like there is no one size fits all. And I think sometimes people try to cut corners and go, who can I look at and do what they're doing and think that they're going to get the same success, but they're not, because what we talked about, you know, in the very beginning of this was all these different qualities. Be yourself, be authentic, be consistent. And sure, you can be all those things, but only you can do it in your way. Only I can do it in my way. That's why everyone's, you know, personal brand and how we show up online should all look very different, because we're all different people. So that's the point of view I'm coming from, is just, you know, understanding that there is no blueprint, there is no one size fit all, and you have to figure out what's your way to succeed in this world, and figuring out where do I want to see the success. For some people, it is LinkedIn. You know, I think that's the go-to for us in sales. It's obviously we're going to be on LinkedIn, but there's so many other businesses who thrive on Instagram, you know, or thrive on Facebook. And those are other channels to pay attention to. But I think that so many as well are just diluting themselves, and they're spreading themselves too thin, trying to be everywhere and do everything on all platforms. And if you do that with limited funds and limited amount of people to help, limited resources, you're going to get burnt out really quickly, because you're not sure where to go, where your real audience is, and you want to be everywhere and do everything for everyone. So I don't think that's the way to go.
No, I totally agree with everything you're saying. I mean, I think, yes, you're all right. I mean, I think, Daniel, like you said, it is a platform for everybody, and it is a nice level playing field. But again, you know, like Marc said, you know, and this Marc, just so everybody knows about Marc, he's like, he studies the technical algorithms. So you see, watch Marc's profile. He makes one post a month, and he gets like 20,000 hits on his profile. His post. You know, he's a little cheat. This guy's a cheat. Seriously, you know. Like, oh, you got to post constantly 2-3 times a day, and he does it like once a month, and he gets 20,000 hits. You know what I mean? I'm like, wait.
The reason is different. Like I have chosen a different strategy. I'm not doing that much posts.
I know you don't. I just said that once a month.
I'm combining LinkedIn with other means, and I do more webinars and this kind of stuff. So I don't need to post every day. You know, it's you have to, like, if you want to get reach with your content on LinkedIn, then you have to be consistent in posting. I'm not that person. At least not now. Maybe in a year we will see. But not now. I have decided against it, and I just do lead generation different.
I'd also like to say, no matter what platform you're on, posting is not as effective as commenting. Commenting will get you more leverage in a lot of ways. And if we're in sales, our job is to create conversations. More conversations happen in the comments section than they do with me monologuing about whatever's going on today.
Yeah, but I mean, that's only something that's recently changed. I mean, I was doing this a year ago. I was in one of Daniel Disney's training sessions about a year ago when he was first teaching me how to do LinkedIn. And I started doing this. It was like October last year, October 2021. And he was like, create these industry specific posts. And I started doing it. And I was like, wow, you know, literally I did one, you know, couple, like, I think I spent in like 2-3 hours a week, did, you know, 1 or 2 posts. And then I was end of October, got a lead. And I was like, wow, and it closed straight away. November, the same thing. In December, I was like, mate, this is amazing. Yeah. Come then, you know, probably like June, July this year, all of a sudden now I'm spending like, you know, 6 hours a day on LinkedIn. And, you know, listen, I'm not going to lie. I achieved some amazing results this year, but I think it was mainly because of the conference and the engagement that I had to drive to this conference, you know, and getting all these leads as a result of that. But it took a lot of time. It took a lot, and it consumed a lot of my time. And what else I found is that for me, content writing is not my thing. I'm too direct. I'm too straightforward, in your face. Like, yes, no, it's rubbish, good, bad. You know what I mean? I don't really care. Do you know what I mean? I'll tell you like it is. And people don't want to hear that. They don't want to hear that. They don't want to know the truth.
Leon, can I jump in very quickly?
Yeah, of course, Daniel.
big step back first. And everyone's made a good point in that there's lots of different networks. And I like Mark's point about finding where you're most comfortable. But even more importantly than that, find where your prospects are. Look at the platforms they're using. We need to go where our customers are. Now, obviously, most of everyone watching, they're probably using LinkedIn, but they're probably using TikTok and Twitter and Instagram and Facebook. So see where they are. I agree with Mark. See where, you're most comfortable. But to your point just now, Leon, in terms of your tone, there is absolutely content that will match you. And it probably might be more video-based or audio-based content where you can express those points in an articulate way where words might misinterpret it. But you could take photos, there's humor, there's articles. And so I think whilst we want to be utilizing the platforms our customers are, we also want to make sure we're utilizing the different forms of content that, as everyone's kind of highlighted, we feel comfortable with, and we can share, the thoughts that we're most passionate about.
Yeah. So it's been come back to your point of being authentic. There's a really great question that's just popped up in the chat. So how can you measure your effectiveness in terms of your social media strategy? And I think that's a really great question here, because it's all about, we're salespeople, yeah? So investment versus return on investment. So how can we measure effectiveness?
I think Red did you have a response, Red?
Well, what I was going to say is number of conversations, the same way in SDR roles, people count phone calls and outgoing phone calls. How many meetings are you getting? How many great conversations are you having? What kind of deep relationships are you forming? How often are you getting a hold of the right people? Like, these are the more important metrics as opposed to just followers. I mean, it's definitely, I'd go conversations or meetings is the way I would measure it.
Red, I love that. And I'm going to double click and get a little bit deeper. Revenue. Or are you converting? It's kind of like what Mark said. If I'm having conversations that aren't converting, for me, that's Facebook. All my high school and college friends, I'm having tons of conversations, but I'm not closing anything from Facebook. I said, oh no. I need to go fish in a different pond where people are more apt to convert. And for me, that is LinkedIn. Daniel, you made a great point of you got to go where your prospects and where your clients are. I would also encourage people to diversify. You don't want to be a one-trick pony. If you're only on LinkedIn, what happens if, and they said it wouldn't happen, but what happens if they change their model? What happens if they shut you down? Then what? Are you on YouTube? What about your website? Are you on TikTok? Are you on IG? So I encourage people, just like we tell people, make phone calls, send emails, send snail mail. You want to diversify, use referrals. I encourage social for you to diversify the different channels as well as the different content. Like Daniel said, the different content that you put out, short form, long form, videos, client testimonials, you name it. There's a diversity of options out there that are available.
Can I just add to that?
Go on.
Because I think it's important too to think about diversity of the people that you surround yourself with when you're thinking about your business. Because if you're just focusing on one market, one type of clientele, and that's all you know because that's what you're comfortable with, you might see success if you just diversified a little bit and went outside of your comfort zone of who you're comfortable to sell to, and see who else can I sell to, who else can I partner with or collaborate with to get to different people.
But I mean, okay, so we're talking about LinkedIn as is LinkedIn a sales tool, or is it a networking tool? I mean, I think that is also a very great question. I mean, what is LinkedIn?
It's everything. It's selling. It's marketing.
Yes.
It's
well, that's what you can do on it, right? Let me put it to you this way. Since this year, LinkedIn has really, really started to annoy me not because the platform, LinkedIn itself, is because I've got so many people literally I have these people come to me and like, hey, Leon, we do website development. Are you interested in our services? And then like literally, he doesn't even let me get a day before he responds back. Oh, did you receive my message? Oh, you haven't responded to my message. I'm like, are you serious, buddy? And then you can't even block them because then they just come through InMail. You're just like, this is taking the mick. It's really, really taking the mick, And then the funny thing is, and I say to a couple of them, I'm like, have you not looked at my profile? I have a web development company which I'm working for, and I deliberately put it on there to distract you guys from contacting me. Why would you contact me? But yeah, I think for me, I think some tools are great if they're used properly. And I think what LinkedIn has done by having all these people on there is brought out a type of person, or brought out this group of people which can't sell and are using it incorrectly. And it is annoying and it's disrupting, the harmony that was in LinkedIn before,
Yeah, let's be fair. This is what happened with the phone. Everyone used to love having phone calls until salespeople kept making tons of cold calls and trying to spam sell everyone. And the problem is, it's not the platform, it's the people, it's the training, it's the leadership, and it doesn't matter what new platform comes up. Companies will always try and scale and spam and just throw as much out there as they can to try and sit. And it's the strategy, it's the process, and that comes down to better leadership, better training, better coaching, because people do send great messages on LinkedIn that start great conversations that turn into great opportunities. So I think it's worth, just sort of opening it. I want to just go back to the measuring bit. There's one extra thing, just one last tip. LinkedIn has its own measurement tool, the Social Selling Index. It's free SSI score, and it will give you a score out of 100. Again, it's free to use. Everyone can leverage it, and it's a good starting point alongside to Larry and Red's point, measuring conversations and measuring revenue. I just wanted to throw that one out there for everyone who's watching as well.
Yeah, that's great. Pretty did. She's talking about here. Okay, so she's mentioned another question. Are you all suggesting how many of those followers connections are moving to DMs with you and then for becoming a lead for you? Okay. All right. I think this is a very, a very interesting topic, because I realized, so at first I had my couple of thousand connections. I didn't really need LinkedIn. I've always been able to get through referrals. So, but people was telling me, you've got to build your brand, Leon. You've got to build your brand. You've got no brand, Leon. You know what I mean? I'm like, do I need a brand? I'm selling. I'm making money. Do I need a brand? We're going to come back to that point in a minute. Yeah, you guys think about that one. But let's talk about this one. All these connections and followers. Is it about the mass followers? Because we start this, I see this social Saturday and this social Sunday or whatever. And I started doing it, getting all these connections just to boost up my numbers a bit, to make myself look a bit, I've got 5,000 connections. Now I stopped it because I just thought, it's just diluting my profile. Do you know what I mean? I've actually gone back and I'm writing a training manual at the moment. And I'm telling people, you know what? Have specialists, think about your industry and actually connect with the people that are going to actually, so that when you're pushing out your content, it's actually going to your connections and their followers and these people all in your industry. So that your posts are a bit much more relevant. What's the point in me posting and an artist likes it? Oh yeah, it's a really nice post. You know what I mean? Like, you really look at a picture. Whatever. What do you guys think about that? Having specialist connections, or is it about mass? You know what I mean?
So, in my opinion, you need both right now, because the way LinkedIn works with first, second, third degree connections, no one can see your content unless they're somewhere in that funnel. So you need to have these connections in order to reach the mass appeal and get to the person that you really want to speak to, in my mind. So yes and no, it's not the end goal, but it can be the means to what you're actually trying to accomplish, to have that real specialist connection that you're looking for. I look at it as growth and niche. So I'm growing, and then I want to be a bug zapper and zap the people I don't want to work with. That person who spams me and does that. Like, I want growth, bring people in, and then zap who I don't want to work with.
Growth and zap. I like that one. Anybody else? Any comments?
Great question, Leon. I mean, it's the challenge and the balance of quality versus quantity. And everyone has their own unique strategy. I encourage people, figure out what works best for you, whether it's Red's reach and then zap. I mean, I like that. We're giving people a joke. Come on. But really figuring out, I encourage folks to just be intentional with your strategy and then execute on it. There's no one size fits all, other than Daniel's book, which can benefit everyone. I know you like that, Daniel. I love it. Great book. There's just opportunity, just like there's opportunity on the phone. There's opportunity on email. This is another vehicle, another platform that can be optimized for some, and for others, it's not the right fit. That's okay. We don't have to jam it in. Everyone doesn't have to be on it. But if you're in B2B, I can tell you, for me, it's one of the best sandboxes to be playing in right now. And I'm sorry to hear about your experience, Leon. I'm a big believer you get out of it what you put into it. You put some good stuff into it, you're going to get some good stuff out of it. And if you're good, not being on LinkedIn, there's plenty of people that are crushing goals, doing business that aren't on LinkedIn. Hey, do you, boo-boo? But
no one cares about Kylie Jenner's LinkedIn profile.
Don't get me wrong. I closed 14 customers this year in the last couple of months now, but from LinkedIn, and every single one came from LinkedIn. But what I'm saying is, it took me 4 months, you know, literally pounding 3 posts a day from this conference, and it was like a really mind strategy, and the impact that came back, the whiplash that came back from that. You know, at one point I remember I was getting like 250 messages a week.
Leon, do you have email? Because that sounds like my experience with email.
Don't talk about email. The email is another problem. I tried not to even go on my emails. You know what I mean? Like, I've actually separated that and now created a new email account, so I can just have this one, like, just my own separate private email account, and leave all the rest. You know, my customer was like the other day, "Oh, did you get my email? Did you send it to my email address? Oh no, we send it to the one that we created for you." Oh, okay, yeah, that one's having a problem at the moment. Just leave it there. We'll put that in a pin in that one. Yeah, I can't answer my phone these days. My phone is always on silent. I can't answer. Daniel, I'm blaming you for that. You're the one who told me to put my phone number on LinkedIn. Yeah, that's your fault, Daniel. Daniel, you owe me. You owe me a new number, buddy. Okay.
There's a lot of spam. There's a lot of spam selling. I think we need to help salespeople realize that they need to have conversations with the right people where they give the right value and they know they can actually solve a problem or help. I think this is a wide problem in the sales industry that goes way beyond LinkedIn. And I think for anyone who's watching part of this conference, you know, this starts with you. This starts with the leaders. This starts with everyone in the business. We need to stop trying to mass send. And actually, to the next Bruce's question around automation tools, I think scale and how many messages can we send out and how many posts can we put out just so we can, you know, really reach as many. Take a step back and let's maybe slow it down and try and focus more on the quality. You can still hit a level of quantity, but quality with conversations will always trump quantity in my experience.
Yeah, definitely, 100%.
Yeah. Agreed.
There's this event going on, like, and these guys, I don't know where they're from, but they must have sent me the same email literally about 10 times from 10 different people. The same email. Hey, I saw you attending this event. We're gonna drop some bombs on LinkedIn, you know. And then so I went and looked on the thing, the event. Yeah, there's all these different events. You know, I saw you attending the sales revival. I saw you attending this event. I saw you attend. And like, I just signed up to lots of events. You know, just interesting. You know, just to see. You know, like. And I got the same message like 10 times. And I went onto the event and he's like, yeah, talk about hyper personalization. I'm like, mate, where's the hyper personalization in that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, you've just sent me the same message 10 times, exactly word for word. You know?
Yeah, but I have clients that told me they don't want to sign up for one of my webinars anymore because they get spammed by others so much afterwards. Yeah, it's really crazy.
It's crazy. I mean, because it's disrupting the benefits of this platform because. You know, I mean, people should think, okay, yeah, that's a great event. Sign up. We had just to show you the numbers here. We achieved 30% of the registrations in the last week of this conference, because people sitting there like, and I was speaking to them like, yeah, we're going to register. We're going to come. I'm like, why didn't you register? I'm like, I want to see the numbers going up. I want to see the numbers. No, mate. No. I realized why when I started getting spammed with these emails. I'm like, you guys are taking the mick,
Yeah, LinkedIn has to do something against it. So
they have to. I mean, I think there has to be some kind of onus on them as well, on the platform, because I think they're basically penalizing people who are just basically not paying. Yeah, I mean, if you're not paying them, they're going to penalize you, and it's kind of like, okay, right? Because I realized as well one thing. So with a new change on LinkedIn, if you're not a premium member, you can't create an event with more than 15 people. Because I had this event with 45 speakers, so I deleted a couple as the speakers were changing. I deleted them and tried to add new ones, but I couldn't do it. Why? Because when I started this event, I was a premium member as sales nav, and then I was getting so annoyed, I cut off the subscription. So yeah, it was in September. Now it was like, nah, your limit is 15. I'm like, what? I'm like, just because I'm not paying?
Well, that's something too that, like, I've looked at these platforms and I've realized that there's this arms race that goes out. Is marketers figure it out, the platform changes, marketers figure it out, the platform changes. It's always going to be this arms race. And right now we're at the part where the marketers, the spammers, are winning until LinkedIn makes a change that actually works. And then it's going to continue the cycle in perpetuity. It happens on every platform. It sucks, but it's part of what we all have to get used to in order to leverage these kinds of platforms.
Yeah. I mean, guys, please, I'm doing a lot of talking. Guys, I want to hear from you guys. Sorry. I have another point, but we go on. Galem.
Well, lead on. I got a question for the group, because I think the title is how can small business owners they're balling on a budget, how can they engage, utilize, and benefit from social media?
Yeah.
And like Marc said, it doesn't have to be LinkedIn. I would love to hear what's one way from each person that small businesses can benefit. They can engage and generate business leveraging social media.
Yeah. That's great question, Larry. And if the debate formats, I'm going to sum it up at the end. The last 15 minutes, I'm going to make sure we all get some really, tangible takeaways. So, I mean, but yeah, I mean, if you want to do this now, we want to focus more on that, then yeah, we can do that. I think there's a lot of stuff that around it. It's not just about, pinning and going straight. Okay, how are we doing that? Okay, yeah, but great. Go on, guys. If you want to answer that question, what are you thinking? Let's start brainstorming some ways of how small businesses can actually, what tactics they can have in terms of leveraging, money or revenue from social media.
Well, the first thing.
You go for it, because I was just going.
You start.
Well, for me, like, I love Bruce's question about scaling, but right now, scaling is not the right thing to do. What I think more people should do on social media is start thinking small, create a list of 50 to 100 ideal prospects and focus on that, and actually try to create those deeper conversations. Ring their bells on LinkedIn is a great strategy right now. But stay in touch with them, build those relationships rather than trying to scale and talk to 1,000 people. Get really close to 100. Stop thinking a puddle where you have thousands of shallow relationships. Build a well of 100 that are much deeper.
But then are we not going backwards then? Because I thought one of the main benefits of being on LinkedIn is this global reach and being able to reach anyone, anywhere, and mass. Because if that's the goal, then I really shouldn't even be on this platform, because I get referrals, and I've been working in my small little northern Germany for a while, and I've been happy, and I'm still got my business from there.
I completely understand this argument, but when you think about it, in what you're actually creating out of these 50 to 100 people is you're going to create a community. And this is where the value is. A community is like, when starting a community, you need to focus on only a few people. Like this is like with research and it's like a community only is successful when there is a core of people. And so you need to plant the seed of this core in the beginning. And this takes like 3 months, 4, 5, 6 months, maybe. So, and then you try to connect those people with each other, and then something is starting. And when you have this, then also the algorithm is going to pick it up, because people are commenting on your posts. You're going to get more reach, and then you're going to suck in more and more people. So this is the organic way of how you build like a public community.
It's a journey. Take it step by step. The global reach comes later. But to Red's point, start off slow, build your community, to Marc's point, and bit by bit it grows. You will get the global reach, but there's no point trying to rush it from the get-go. And I think what Red's trying to do for everyone that's watching, if you're at the starting point, that is a very good place to start. But we have the queen of community, Galem, here. So,
That's super important. It's like what people have seen it over and over again. People want results fast. Of course, we all want results fast, but it's not working like this. It's more like slow marketing. You need to give it time. You need to plant something and then reap the seeds later. But you need to have the patience on the way and the consistency to get this going.
Yeah. I mean, go on, Galem. Let's tell us about communities. I mean, it's actually a topic we're meaning to have. I'm trying to get some time in your diary to talk about this, haven't we? Yeah, come on.
Yes.
So we're going to do this.
I mean,
now.
My thoughts about community is just that you have to show up as yourself and do the right thing from the beginning. Like, start very small, build it organically. Think about it from a local perspective, and then build it out to globally. One thing I read on Forbes was that 75% of shoppers would, buy from a company if the company knows their name and their purchase history. So think about Amazon, how easy and quick and how much we trust Amazon. A lot of us, I do. Because they know a lot about me. They know where I go, what I want, what I'm looking for, what I should buy next for my dog. Like, they know everything, and that's great. But we can also think about that from a personal perspective, community perspective. If you know the people that you're serving, you know their names personally, because when you're like Rev Genius, were 30 people, in the beginning, that grew into 30,000 people in 2 years. But in the beginning, I knew everyone's name who was involved, all 30 people. I chatted with them regularly. But as it grows and as it evolves, you get less of that. But that's when you should have the ability to figure out, how can I connect with my community, with my people, the ones who are the fans, the ones who are supporting. That's exactly what artists are doing. They connect with their fans on a regular basis. There are millions of them, but how can the fans feel so connected to them? It's because they care and they find ways that they can resonate with them. And I think, Larry, you're really good at this. I noticed this from day one of getting to know you, was that Larry will remember the details. And this is what makes you stand out. If you can remember small details, like what's the name of your dog, what's the name of your partner or family members, or where'd you go on holiday, when's your birthday, things like that really matters. And I thought about this the same way when I started my podcast about 2.5 years ago. I had a list of all my guests, and as it continued to grow, I was like, okay, I need to figure out when their birthdays are. So I just started to kind of, not stalk people, but research people and be like, when's your birthday? And sometimes I just had to ask them up front, like, curious to know when your birthday is, because I would like to, send you something. Or just send you something when it's not your birthday, whatever the case might be. But I think it's important to be personable and be genuine with that. You can't just do it for the sake of doing it, or just because someone told you it's a good idea.
But I think what I'm hearing, though, is that LinkedIn and these other social media platforms are no different. The technique of selling hasn't changed. It's just the channel that's changed. Because if I think back, and I can see Larry nodding, you know, because we're roughly in the same generation. I mean, we all are pretty much. But I think we pretty much, we all grew up with that kind of mentality. And I think that's what makes us good sales guys, is that we cared. We had a small community of, and we built a small community of prospects and customers. We cared, we nurtured those customers, we utilized those customers to grow and get referrals and build out and get more customers. And then we have real rock solid testimonials and case studies and people backing us up, which has ultimately created our brand. Yeah. And no matter how big or strong that brand is, we're all successful in what we do because of that work that we put in at the beginning. Now it's just the platform has changed to do this in.
I'd also like to bring up what Larry was talking about with his 3-minute exercise that he was talking about before. Social media is great at building a community with that 3-minute, like, again, sending a meme about football, like that kind of stuff. That's something that should be part of your strategy on a regular basis because it takes virtually no time, but can build that community much quicker.
Okay. I think that's another point. Personalization. How personal should we go on these social media platforms, guys? Because I'm not going to lie to you. So I had seen a couple of posts where, you know, people say, oh, yeah, it was 2 years today. My son died or my daughter died or this and that. And then you see it and then they've got like 200,000 likes. And you're like, should I like that? I mean, is that, you know, I don't know how to feel. I don't even know how to react to that kind of thing. That's really personal, you know? Is there a line that we should be drawing on these kind of things?
I think it differs. Look, some people are really comfortable and, you know, they get a lot from being open like that. And I can respect that. As long as it's done in a positive way and it's not just to try and get likes and comments, then I'm for it. Personally, I have a line. Everyone has their line, and you draw that line wherever you are comfortable. No one needs. Some people don't like sharing photos of their children on social media, and that is fine. That is your choice, and everyone should respect it. We all have our own line. We draw that where we are comfortable. But at some point, just try and make sure people can get to know you as a human being. Where you draw the line is fine, but just make sure they can get to know you. But to your point, Leon, everyone has different things, and sometimes people do try and sort of play the game, and so they do these things to get the engagement, and they'll get lots of engagement, but if you keep doing it, you'll see the engagement drop and it won't convert into anything. So make sure whatever you're doing, to our sort of initial points, be authentic, be genuine, and draw the line where you are comfortable. I think that's an important point to make.
I love
I'm not
it,
opening an
Daniel.
OnlyFans anytime soon.
Only sales.
I love what you said, Daniel, and I think it comes down to the human element. I know someone asked about automation. It's if we're going to be robots, then we don't need to be around. And Galem, you talked about the details, and yes, tell Poppy I said what's up. I remember the little details. My thing, and I was taking notes as each of y'all talked. I appreciate it. How are you differentiating? Because if you think about it, we're all individuals. Leon is very direct. He's going to tell it to you just like it is. Me, I might beat around the bush a little bit, but that's me. So once again, encouraging people to be you, be your authentic self. If you try to be someone else, it's probably not going to fly because people can smell BS from a mile away and it doesn't smell good. So just being authentic and differentiating just by being you, because there's no one out there that's you. So like Daniel said, everyone's got their own line. Some people might, in my opinion, they go further. Their line is further. That's okay. Do you, boo-boo, as long as it's in a positive way. If it's not bringing anyone else down, if it's not really impacting someone else in a negative way, by all means, have at it. I also encourage people to have fun. And I know my coach, she says, Larry, you have too much fun on LinkedIn. I'm like, there's no such thing as having too much fun. I have fun on LinkedIn. It's my playground. It's my playpen. I'm having a good old time. And there's something, and I'm going to go back to LinkedIn. There's something that everyone can do, but most people don't. And that's video. Oh, and some people say, I'm not good on video. Shoot, I got the face for radio, but people can really get to know you. I see you, Red. They can get to know you through video. They can get to know you through audio. They can get to know you through funny GIFs. You can bring out your creative side, even if you're not an extrovert. It allows you to differentiate yourself from everyone else. Everyone else is just doing the short form, the messages. Mix it up a little bit and see what happens. I think you'll be astounded.
Yeah, I mean, I think videos, we're going to talk about that later, but I mean, that video thing is also annoying me because the people send me these videos and they're trying to, you know, rush out and get like a 10-minute message out in 2 minutes, you know. Wow, sorry, let me rewind that, you know, let me put it on really slow just to try and understand what they're saying. You know,
hey, Leon, I'm sorry to interrupt, man, but I got to be direct with you. Who are you hanging out with, man? Because I don't experience none of that. I don't know if the microphone,
I'm telling you, these people coming out from the woodworks, you know, like, what? Leave me alone, man.
You're experiencing anything like mine, dog.
Leave me alone. I mean, the funny thing was, yeah, I tried to be nice, and I think before like a couple of years ago, I was always be nice. I'd be courteous. I tried to help people. So, you know, so like I'm the type of person, a sales guy would call me, you know, and I remember one time, 2 years ago, a sales guy called me up and he's like, "Oh, yeah, trying to sell me teeth insurance." I'm like, okay, you know me. So he called me up and I'm like, okay, bro, look, slow down. Take your message, take the hook, call me back and try again. So he called me back, did it. We did this about 7 times, yeah? And then he's like, yeah, I was like, oh, mate, that's a brilliant message. He's like, do you want to buy it? I was like, come on, hell no, it's teeth insurance. You know what I mean? But but at least now you know what you're doing now. Now, people, I'm just like, ignore. As soon as he starts sending me more than 2-3 messages, block, spam, you know what I mean? And it's turning me into a bit of a, you know what I mean? Like, people call me up, like, what do you want? Who are you? What do you want? Get to the point. Sell to me or go get away. You know what I mean? Like, because hey, man, like, it's pretty like this me side because people just harassing me. You know?
Let me give a positive example to this because I think, I mean, Leon, I got an idea for you. You getting all these spammy messages. I would create a small mini micro online course, and then anytime someone sends you a spammy message, send them to that course on how to send good sales messages, and you might make some money from it. But to a more positive point, I sent a video this morning, 10 minutes before we went live. I've drafted a post for today, sent 3 LinkedIn video messages and 4 audio messages to prospects. And one of my video messages was very simply a congratulations to someone who'd got a new job, someone I'd worked with years ago. It was very much just a congrats on the new opportunity. Sounds really exciting, really personal, really light, really conversational. I sent the same one 2 days ago, and they messaged me back saying, thank you so much. Actually, would like to have a chat with you about coming and helping us in this new opportunity. And those are the sort of things that work. It's, to your point, slow it down, make sure it's personal, keep it conversational. But 10 minutes, you know, you can do a lot of stuff. You can post something, you can send some conversation starting messages. The timing point, which I know has come up quite a few times, all this stuff doesn't take hours. It doesn't have to take hours and hours. If you've only got 15 minutes, 30 minutes to spare, there is a lot you can do on social media, posting, sending a few messages, adding a few people, doing that every day consistently. It soon turns into big things.
I mean, honestly, for me, like I said, I never really wanted to. LinkedIn for me was a research tool. I loved the insights, the research that I could research in companies, and I could get really intimate details, you know, about the person I'm calling, about the company. I could see their revenue, I could see the changing, all that. And that for me was great. And then as well, you know, you could follow somebody and see their content. Now I can't even see content coming on my own page, you know what I mean? Like, you know, people like, have you seen my post? No, what, we're connected. How do I not see your post? Like, you know, you know, but yeah, I follow people. And then I have to think to myself, who was that guy I was trying to follow? I can remember, I remember he had a yellow background, but what was their name? Because I can't find them, you know? I can't find them. LinkedIn, you know, you just make it so hard, you know? I'm like, oh man, you're destroying this platform for me, man. This used to be a brilliant tool for me to help, but I can't see the content anymore. So yeah, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know what they're doing. They're hurting me. They're really killing my business. Go on, Red.
A big thing that I'd also like to bring on is if time is a factor, you help your time by increasing efficiency. Going after new customers all the time, new customers, depending on your sector, can be only maybe a 5% close rate. But if you're going to your previous customers and you're literally you print out a list of A to Z, all of your previous customers, and you send 2 or 3 messages a day, you'll start creating more referrals, you'll start finding more people because they already trust you. So don't build a new road, use the road that's already built.
Yeah, true. But yeah, I mean, I target 40 people a year. Yeah, like, yeah, I'm not talking big targeting. Yeah. All right, guys. Right, so let's start summing this up. We've got 20 minutes left. Right, so let's brainstorm. 20 minutes. What is the takeaways from this for people? We've got small businesses, no money. They want to make revenue. They need to build their brand. They need to have a strategy. They need to, what are we talking about? Different platforms, different engagement tactics. Let's create a list, a brainstorm list.
I'll start off. You got to take action. A lot of times people noodle. There's people out there watching now that are noodling. Stop noodling and get in the game. Get in the conversation. You don't have to create your own content. Just get in the conversation. Other people are creating content. Go ahead and get involved in that discussion so that you can add value. I know you shared that earlier, Mark. You can spread your values, which will be evident. And I know time is money. If you have a limited amount of time, like Daniel said, 10 minutes a day, big things can happen if you're consistent with it. So many times people give it a try, and we live in a microwave society. People want it right now. No, it takes time. Rome wasn't built in a day. Come on, Cletus.
Okay, so yeah, so commenting and taking action. That's a great point. Anybody else?
I create a lead magnet that is very valuable. Not like a white paper that has no value at all. It's just there for people to sign up to your email list. Like something that really creates a difference in their lives. Because
sorry, what did you say? What was the point? What was the first thing you said? The lead magnet.
Yeah, the lead magnet. So when you think about it, the problem of all of what we have been discussing so far, like with the spam and these horrible messages, and I mean this is like all over marketing. People don't trust marketing materials anymore as they did before. When you go to a webinar, then most of the time you already expect you're not getting any value out of it. It's just basically a group sales call. You're not sure, like there's so many people that have fake KPIs in the case studies out there that they're promoting, and like how can you trust this? So what you need to do is to create that trust, and you do that by helping people already with your marketing in achieving results. So your marketing has already to achieve results for people. Then they see, okay, this stuff is working. So I can take the next step, and I maybe can try out like a low price product of that person or of that company. And then from there, you take it up step by step.
Okay, this is just a concept that I like. This is my new phrase for 2022: return before investment. So this is what I try to say to my customers. Look, I give you return before investment. So yeah, I love that. I really sponsor that one, Mark. Thank you. Anybody else?
I think everyone's waiting to see who's going to go first. Red, you go first.
Yeah, I love what Larry said with take action. I want to build on that really quickly. A plan executed at 40% is better than the perfect plan that you second guess and keep in a drawer. The algorithm is going to change. Just try to do something. You'll find what works. You'll make adjustments. Walk into social media the way like a Roomba does. You are going to hit a wall. You're going to adjust, and you're going to change and get better. just accept that you're going to make these changes as you go. Just take the action and adjust.
Okay, brilliant. Galem, Daniel?
Yeah, I think think like a sales rep. You know, I'm thinking, what did I do when I was a BDR? Something that worked really well was setting up roundtables with prospects and with customers. That way they get to communicate, engage with each other, and they will hype up your business for you. So that's a practical, tactical thing that you can do. Another thing would be if you're in the boat of ready to create content and ready to educate, you know, your buyers and your market. I think a lot of small businesses are doing really good with their own podcasts because that way they get to talk about not just their business. That's not the point. It's the industry. It's you know, who they're serving and what they can bring to their people. So I think podcasting is another great way that you can leverage, and then you can take that into social media, into snippets, into, you know, bite-sized content, and there you go. Like, I think that's a good start if someone hasn't done that yet.
Brilliant. I haven't done podcasting yet, so but so, I mean, I think people won't want to hear what I got to say. I'm going to hurt some feelings.
And you know what? Maybe that's what they need.
Go on, Daniel.
I'll just add all really great points. I would add content and conversations. Try and post 1 to 2 posts a week and give value through your content. Whoever you're trying to sell to, give them value, give them knowledge, insights, tips, entertainment. Just be consistent with it. Content's one component, and the other is start conversations, whether it's a written message, a video message, an audio message, or comments. Just start talking to people. If you want to create opportunities, you need to start having those conversations. So those 2 things, you could spend 10 minutes, 15 minutes a day just doing a small amount of those things. And if you do it consistently, they'll start to build into tangible results, and it will grow from there. But I think everyone's, I mean, incredible stuff today.
Brilliant. Just one thing about channels. Sorry. We mentioned, Larry, you said, you know, do work on lots of channels, and somebody else said, I think it was Galem, you said, you know, don't spread yourself too thinly. Can we meet in the middle? How many channels would you say? Or be
should everybody like put their hands up and say how many platforms they think they should be on? Like, we could just do it all at once.
Yo, you guys saw me. I appeared on Instagram very shortly, and I was like, this is not for me. I cut that off. I think did you I connected with a couple of you guys. I was like, nah, man, this is not for me. I was on there for about a month.
I mean, the thing about it though, like there are softwares out there where you can just upload and it will send it out to multiple platforms, you know, Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram, whatever. I know Daniel is like skeptical there, but love to hear your thoughts. I haven't done that because that just, I mean, I tried, it didn't work for me. I didn't like that approach. But that is something that you can do as well. You know, if you don't want to be in all the platforms all at once, you can set it up so it sends out your content to a few of them. And then maybe you have another one that you're actually in on a regular basis. Like, let's say it's LinkedIn, like that's your foundation. But then you might be like, oh, I do want to show up on Instagram. I do want to show up on Facebook, maybe Twitter. And then you can have some content going out there. But it needs to be consistent. I think this has been the theme today, is the consistency of your brand, consistency of your reputation, consistency of your content, consistency of your values. That's super important because someone can see you in one place, but not another, or one place first and then go to a second or third. And it all needs to be very similar or the same voice that they hear.
Are these platforms not differentiated in terms of their communities? Isn't it? Yeah. I mean, you mentioned something earlier, Galem, that, you know, utilizing different platforms to engage with different types of people. I mean, so just to give you an example, I always thought Facebook was a brilliant B2C selling tool. You know, it's a business consumer, that kind of thing. You know, if you're selling, so that's why I never really went on there. Really, I'm on there for friends and family, but it's not really something I try to sell on because I don't see it as my community, or it's not really too associated with my product. I have my page there, don't really use it. Whereas
Yeah.
LinkedIn.
Yeah.
What are the other platforms? TikTok, Snap. I don't use any of these other things. But just tell me what from your guys' experience, Larry, man. I don't understand you, man. Like you're in my generation. How are you on all of these things, man?
But the thing is that I'm not. And
as well.
I discovered I dabble in Instagram, but my wife, she says you're doing it wrong. She said you can't write all those words on Instagram. It's just pictures. So I realized I'm going to stay in my lane. Right now, LinkedIn is my focus. And then I dibble dabble. Galem said consistency. I'm not consistent. I do a TikTok here and there. There's something else to think about. And I think Galem alluded to it. Congruence. Who you are on Facebook should be congruent with who you are on LinkedIn everywhere. Because if you have these multiple personalities, Houston, we have a problem. So I just encourage people. We've said it before, be authentic, be you, be real. People, your tribe will rally behind you. And those that don't, it's okay. They were never with you in the first place.
So for B2B tools, which ones would you recommend?
LinkedIn.
What would you recommend? I mean, apart from LinkedIn. Okay, we go LinkedIn. What other ones would you recommend?
Maybe Twitter.
YouTube.
I don't know. I'm not blue check certified, so I don't know.
Yeah.
Twitter.
It's only $9, Larry. It doesn't cost you much to get that blue tick anymore.
Well, the way I look at every platform is like a different kind of bar, and I'm showing my Irish roots a little bit here. LinkedIn is like a network mixer. Facebook is like a dive bar. Instagram is that trendy first date spot. Find where you're comfortable and be there. Find where your clients are comfortable and be there. And you're going to change your language a little bit depending on what bar you go to. I'm not going to behave the same way at a network mixer the way I will in a dive bar. So you need to be authentic, but there's going to be some little like subtle changes based on what platform that you're on. But for me, like I post on YouTube, I post on Facebook regularly, but I don't care about those platforms. I just know if I ever want to grow on them later down the road, I want to have a backlog of content. That's all I care about. It doesn't even have to be good content. It just has to be a backlog to show that I've been doing it for a while.
Do you convert on YouTube, Red? Have you converted?
What I use YouTube for more than anything else is I like do my podcast, I do my videos, and when I come across a problem through a DM, through a whatever on LinkedIn, I could say, hey, here's a video I did 8 months ago about that topic. And it builds credibility because it shows that I've been talking about these issues for a while.
Okay.
So that's how I use on YouTube. I'm not looking to get 1 million subscribers. I'm not looking to get one of those placards with a shiny play button on it. I'm just there to, hey, here's some content that I think you could use, like kind of what Dan was saying with building a course to just do like, okay, when you get spammed, you could send them this. That's an idea that I would use YouTube for.
Okay.
I want to just share something that's going to make people think very differently about this multi thing. But two things first. Number one, Tamara's question: Buffer and Hootsuite are two platforms where you can schedule content onto multiple channels. But just a word with that, as we've kind of highlighted, each platform is different. So if you just create one piece of content and then it goes onto everything, it's probably not going to work on most of them as it would the one you've designed it for. So they work, but you do, if you want to actually get some results, you kind of need to tailor each one to each network. But
what about just a platform just for LinkedIn? If you just wanted to schedule your content on LinkedIn,
they work on you can use them for just a single platform as well. So they work for multi-platform.
Recommend the same one, yeah.
Yeah. But just to think about it differently, I had a lead on Instagram. Now I am not consistent on Instagram. I share mostly, I guess, a mix of personal and professional. But if I'm on a plane, I'll take a selfie before I fly on a speaking opportunity or something like that. And I had a message come through from someone, bearing in mind this person, we're connected on LinkedIn, we're friends on Facebook, they have my contact number, but they chose to message me on Instagram because that was their platform of preference. So you don't need to be big and put lots of time into every platform, but if you can have a level of presence, you'll be surprised how many people might choose a different platform to come through to you because that's where they are comfortable. And sometimes it's worth having, like you would have a website, so that those that use Google and search will find you that way. It's important to try and make sure we're visible in as many different pockets. My final thing is TikTok, I think, is going to be the next big B2B player. I'm seeing it already. People are getting B2B results on TikTok, and they're taking TikTok content, sharing it on LinkedIn, and getting results on LinkedIn with that content as well. It's the only one I'm noticing a lot of movement for. Now I'm going to be spending some time in the coming months learning it.
And I know a lot of people have been loving TikTok as a micro video editor. Like it's a completely free editing tool. Even if they're not growing on the TikTok platform, they're using it as a video editor.
Creator, yeah.
I just thought it was a jokes video platform just to watch funny videos. I didn't even know that. Like every time my phone does a sync, I see this TikTok thing. I watch a couple of videos for a couple of months. I get bored, waste of time. Yeah, delete it.
I mean, there's some funny stuff on there. I spend time, and some of those videos are hilarious. But
they are hilarious, man,
educational stuff. It's growing, and it's venturing into B2B.
Sorry, I really try to, you know what I mean? Because I get distracted very easily. Anything that is really not focused and helping me go into get it out, delete, cut. Friends, it could be places, people. I don't care. Cut. You know what I mean? You're not good for me. I'm going that way. You're going that way. No, cut. So yeah, I'm very, very black and white like that. As me, like, you know, I've said to some friends, hey guys, you know, I know we've been friends for a long time, yeah, but look, I'm going this way now, and you're still going that way. Not working. Not working. Not working, man. Sorry. Okay, right, guys. Listen, 5 more minutes left. Daniel, TikTok. Thank you very much for that. That was a very, very, very insightful. Have we got all the other questions here? What advice do you give about people who are nervous about time investment? Anybody nervous about time investment? I mean,
just start with 15 minutes a day. I mean, if you're really nervous,
15 minutes a day. Yeah. Anybody else got anything to say? I think we did. I think we made some really, really great points here, and I think there was, in terms of just we talked about this community. I just wanted to last couple of minutes, Galem. Sorry, we talked about this community, and obviously you have your own community. Now I see people are maybe trying to take that community, and I've seen a lot of private communities going up, like private, you know, networks and communities. I've seen a lot of these coming up recently, and I've also seen a lot more newsletters, these newsletter subscribers and these things. What are the benefits of those? Would you recommend? What's disagree, agree, not agree? What would you say?
That last question about newsletter, I'm going to point that to someone else because I don't have one and I'm not interested in having one at this moment. But to the point of communities, there's a lot of micro communities popping up for sure. And I think those are super valuable for people to get just in, you know, a smaller group of people who are super hyper focused on something in particular, whatever that might be, or for a particular region as well. So I think micro communities is the next thing, because that's kind of like your own tribe, and that tribe can be as big as you want it to be or as little as you want that to be. And realistically, like, you're not going to have a tribe of hundreds and thousands of people. It's going to be your closest people, closest friends, closest supporters, the people who will help you, and the people who will support you, people who will be on the same page as you. And so I definitely think micro communities is the next move, and I think it's a good move for a lot of people. But it goes back to, are we trying to have an impact, or are we trying to influence people, or is it both? I think the combination of both is probably the better route to take, because you can't just be about impact and say you don't care about influence, and vice versa. You can't just have influence and have no impact or no desire to have an impact. Okay. So that's how I think. I don't know. What do you guys think about that, Daniel and Larry? Because you both have, I know, hundreds and thousands of followers, and you are influencers, but you also have impact, major impact. And that maybe that's the point too on newsletter and why you would use a newsletter. For me personally, I haven't been into it because I don't have something at this very moment that I want to push and move forward to other people. And until I feel like I can bring the value that other people want to see from me, I'm not in a place to give that or do that.
Daniel, you take it away.
To that point, you
just want to wrap up quick. Go on quickly. Go on, Daniel, please.
Again, you have a lot of value to give to a newsletter. I think that's probably a conversation you could have with someone else to maybe help you see what that value looks like, because you've got it there. It's just uncovering it. Newsletters are great. To the core point, and keeping this quick, both are good. Micro communities are really good for people starting out. That those are the first sort of steps you can kind of aspire to. But there are equally just as many great opportunities for macro audiences and influencer level audiences, and that's where companies will also invest. It's not a choice. Do both. Do what you're comfortable with. Do what you can start with. But I think micro communities definitely a good very first step to get into a focus level for everyone who's watching this. Is going to be probably the most easiest one to apply.
All right, guys, thank you very, very much for your time. I'm sorry, Red, I know you wanted to say some more, but literally we hit time. Yeah. Just so you know, guys know, so at 3 o'clock, there will be a networking room open just for this group. So from 3 to 3:40. I'm not sure if all the speakers going to be able to make it. If they can, great. What it will be there, what we do is we're going to open up the group, and we'll have the audience. We'll have up to 45 people from the audience can sit there and ask you guys direct questions, and you can speak to them. And then hopefully, if there's people there, you can pick up some leads, guys. Thank you very much from the bottom of my heart, guys. It was a really great session, and wish you guys all a pleasant day. Peace.
Well done, everyone.
Thank you, Leon.
Thank you. Have a quick 10-minute break, and we'll be back with the next session, guys.